Let us begin here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for standing. We're going to, in the next 48 minutes, we're going to make your time incredibly worthwhile. This is not going to be about me telling my backstory, because that's not going to serve you. You heard a little bit about my credibility. I'm sure some people in this room have done more impressive things than I have. But what success is all about in the conversation we're going to have is living life consistently with what you value. And what I valued was becoming time-free and economically free, because when I was 5 years old, my mother, when she heard I was going to go blind like my grandfather from retinitis pigmentosa, the same eye condition that Steve Wynn of Wynn Hotels has here in Las Vegas, her biggest concern was how would I possibly make a living, let alone ever support a family. So I didn't find out I was going blind until I was 17. My entire life became about not going blind, broke, and becoming an alcoholic, like so many other people in my family had become. Like, it was blind, broke, alcoholic was the pattern. And my grandfather was an incredible success because he had chopped off the alcoholic part. He was just blind and broke. So my desire, the next generation, was to be blind and not broke and definitely not an alcoholic. That was the pattern. So the conversation we're going to have today begins with this, because we're going to leave 3 value takeaways that are practical. This is not going to be inspirational. It's not going to be motivational. And for my incredible mismatching friends in the room, which I am sure there are many, these are brilliant people that are here from all different walks of life, I describe a mismatcher as hearing information and taking it and discerning why it isn't true, it doesn't apply to them. It's an incredibly valuable skill set for engineers, for scientists, for attorneys, for medical doctors to distinguish and discern between things. It is also something that can crush and destroy dreams when misapplied. The mismatcher says no to everything until it's absolutely proven for them. And so what I don't have time to do is to speak into the listening of mismatchers today in the 45 minutes that we have remaining. So what I offer to my mismatching friends in all of my heart, come study with us, come talk to us, come find Fernando, come find me afterwards. I will answer every question into the unique application of what we're talking about to you. Me speaking for 45 minutes is like me getting warmed up with half an appetizer. I typically speak for 4 days for 12 hours a day. So the depth of the content, the application of the things we have to talk about go far beyond this. But this is a profound, fun, and awesome challenge to give you real value that isn't simply fluff and motivation and me telling stories about being blind and overcoming. That's not what's going to happen. What we're here to do for you today is to provide tangible acceleration for the more that you came here to seek. Because not one person is here that doesn't want more. Einstein said, make it as simple as possible, but not simpler. What does that mean? It means reduce things to their lowest common denominator that is factually correct. And the factually correct lowest common denominator for this incredible, wonderful room is that you want more. You wouldn't be here unless you didn't. You wouldn't be lining the walls. You wouldn't be standing, talking. You would never come to Las Vegas. You never come to this building, even if you're from Las Vegas, unless you wanted more. And we'll reduce that more into 3 simple categories that we'll talk about in just a moment. But the opening true question that affects everyone, now that we know that everyone here wants more, is my new favorite question. And I worked for 26 years and had to most rapidly reach people's minds, hearts, and souls with the truth of how we create that which we want. And that question for me now is, and applies to me as much as you, because this dynamic, this question I'm about to ask, shifts and changes profoundly and continuously every minute of every day of our life. And the question is, how free are you? How free are you? How free are you? What does that mean? I had the privilege yesterday of being in New Jersey and finishing a day of surfing, which is one of my favorite activities to do. I had my daughter on a surfboard in a Belle dress from Beauty and the Beast for the first time at 2 years old, and she was on her surfboard in a Belle dress. I do not exaggerate, because she doesn't like wearing bathing suits. She likes wearing princess dresses in the ocean, which makes us look weird, but has a lot of fun. Her name is Selena. So after Selena was surfing as Belle on a surfboard in Long Beach Island, New Jersey, we went to see a show that has some folks that some of you may be quite familiar with. And there were 3 characters that were imprisoned in this show. Like most children's stories, we have imprisonment. But most children's stories of imprisonment aren't about an external force of imprisonment, are they? I don't think so. They're about the internal imprisonment. And can anybody yell out and say 3 famous characters that the journey of the movie, in part, had to do with their self-imprisonment and eventually becoming free. Anyone? Thank you. The Wizard of Oz. Who said that? What's your name? Antonio. So let's hear for Antonio. So I am blind, and I can only feel energy. I can't see or clapping. So can we hear for Antonio, please? One more time. Can we hear for Antonio, please? Thank you. Okay. So the three imprisoned characters in The Wizard of Oz were first, Scarecrow. We're first, the Scarecrow. Second, the Tin Man. And third, the Cowardly Lion. So the Scarecrow believed he did not have a brain. The Tin Man believed he did not have a heart. And the Cowardly Lion believed he lacked courage. And that is an incredibly applicable thing for all of us. We think we're not smart enough. We think our hearts are not big enough. We don't love enough. We don't care enough. And we think we are not courageous enough. And what does the wizard reveal in the end? The wizard in the end, to free these amazing people, the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man, what the wizard reveals is that they all had the keys inside of them the entire time. Now, the wizard was a fraud. That's his own interesting story. But he told the truth in the end, which is Scarecrow, you are smart enough. Tin Man, you have enough heart. You have a heart. Cowardly Lion, you have courage. And in the end, they were free, except the movie stops there. And that's just not accurate. Because I guarantee you, in the very next day, week, and or month, that the Scarecrow would once again think he wasn't smart enough to do the next thing. The Tin Man would think he didn't have enough heart to do the next thing. And the Cowardly Lion would find something scary enough to make him question if he had courage. If you've ever felt not smart enough, not a big enough heart, or not courageous enough, please say yes. Please say yes. Okay, so we're going to tie this back in the end. This is not the value. The value is coming, but what we're asking this question for you to assess this entire time is how free are you? And a beautiful example of this question is how we even engage with each other right now and answer questions with a yes or a no. Because what we do in our survival brain, content has begun. In our survival brain, we lie to ourselves just like sharks and deer and every living creature lie to themselves. You want to know what shark's great lie is as a surfer? That the shark can't eat me. The shark can eat me. Why do you think sharks do not eat people regularly and continuously? Why do sharks not thrive at beaches and eat humans all day long? Pause. And why does the deer that comes to get food at my house every single day out of my 2-year-old daughter Selena's hand, why does that deer still run if Selena just stands up on the stairs and we're still 10 feet away? Because their survival brains say the same thing to them in line, to the shark and the deer, about what we're going to talk about today. And the things that we do not do that make absolutely and utterly no sense. And we're going to break through this today. Not in a general thing, 3 very specific takeaways for today. That if you do these things, I guarantee you will have increased your likelihood of doubling your business in 12 months by 95%. And at the end of this year, come find me and say, I lied to you, and I will do a video with you on the internet. As long as you do the 3 things that we're talking about, I am telling you, you will double your business unless there's some other tragic consequence that occurs in your life. Does that sound fun? Yes? Okay, deal. So now, the contract begins like this. You all came for a different reason, but it's only 3 reasons, because Einstein said make it as simple as possible, but not simpler. Some of you came here with a priority to make more revenue, create more money in your business, primary. Some of you came and said, I have revenue, I want more time freedom and scaling, primary. And some of you said, I want more fulfillment, I want more impact, a word I call magic. Call it whatever you want. The emotional states you want, the pride, the adventure, the success, whatever that thing is, the trophy, the honor, the raising money for charity, something other than revenue for your business or time. that third thing. And you say, well, I want all three. Of course I want all three. But something dominates. When I submit to you that what dominates most first is if we don't have revenue and we don't have money where we want it to be, it becomes the predominant focus for us. And if we do have money, our next focus becomes wanting time freedom if we don't have it. And once we have the money and time, then we truly begin to focus on fulfillment magic. Now, what happens, though, is very tricky. Our survival brain, that shark thing that causes sharks not to do what it could easily do to create massive abundance, and what the deers do to not create massive abundance also, that affects people. And every time we start to move through a pattern where we begin to think something is not going to successfully work for us, every time this happens, we begin to get distracted between wanting money, time, and magic. We pivot. So if we're focused on creating the revenue, we get to a place where, just like the shark, we fear failure. We fear that we're going to spend too much of our resources, and our nervous system lies to us and tells us that we are going to perish. We're going to die if we continue down the path. So we begin to pivot into either time or magic, impact, whatever the other third thing is that you want the most, and we begin to focus on that, trapping us in an endless cycle of arduous, never leaving arduous, and making it to momentum and abundance. When we get to abundance, we put very little effort in and get a massive, massive return. And we're going to illustrate these 3 points, which we haven't hit yet, after you self-identify for purposes of this beautiful 2.0 conference. People can pick their pronouns. You can pick your money, time, or magic. Yes? So here we go, right? So here we go. You know that money is primary for you. People go, how do I know? I kind of want all three. You know money is primary for you if the answer to this question is yes. If the answer to the question that goes like this is yes, you are money. Would you work an extra 10 hours per week on top of what you're working right now if you knew it would increase your income by 50%? So if you would work an extra 10 hours per week, right, to increase your income by 50%, then you are money. My answer to that question is no, and there's no judgment. I am not money primary. If I was money primary, and I've been money primary certainly at different periods of my life when I was building my first law firm, then yes. The second question is, if the answer to that is no, so the answer is yes, I would, 10 more hours per week to make 50% more, yes, money. Second question is, if time is your primary, if you would not work that for money, and you would not work it to do anything else. There's nothing that you would spend more time to do, and the only thing you want to do is work less and have less things scheduled in your life than your time primary. Your magic primary, fulfillment primary, impact primary, that third category, if there is something, running your kids' Little League team, building a charity, causing your first book to be published, you would work with your family to create a better Thanksgiving and holiday season together. Whatever that thing is that you would take on, that responsibility, that outcome, and you would spend 10 hours a week doing that, but you wouldn't do it for money, but you would do it for magic, then you're magic. So 10 more hours per week, I would say, for something other than money, then you're magic. Nothing I would do to set more things in my schedule than your time, and you are money if you would work 10 extra hours a week to increase by 50% your income. Okay, so now we're going to meet like friends. Every room I've ever been in has been predisposed to one of those three. Which one of those three do you think every room I've ever been in has been predisposed to? I'm going to ask you the answer on three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Money. If you are money, go to that side of the room, just move across the aisle. Please stand up, move to that side of the room, and all get a nice big grouping, lining down that whole side of the room if you're money. Please. If you are time, please head to that front portion of the room, and if you're magic, to that back portion. Let's see if you can get there in the next 20 seconds and meet some new friends. Ready? Go. Money to the right side, time to the front left, magic to the back left. You will come back to your spots eventually. Yes. Yes. "20 seconds to get with your people. 20 seconds to get with your people." Okay, if you guys can hear me, if you're in money, if you can hear me in money, say yes. If you can hear me in money, say yes. If you can hear me in time, say yes. Time, say yes. Magic, say yes. Okay, so which group, Fernando, is the largest? Wow, let's give it up for Magic. Okay, so Magic, time and money. Can you throw one of your group members out and have them come up and talk to me? So immediately select one of the people in your Magic group, send them right here. Somebody in your time group right here. Somebody in the money group, have them come right here. Okay, what's your name? Johnny, and you're what group? Magic. And you are? Colin? Colin. And which group? Money. So Colin is money. What time is your first name? Johnny. Johnny is Magic. And who's time? Sanjeev. Why do we have no women that have been ejected from their group? That is very fascinating.
We can get her right there. Bring that.
You're a magic woman. Okay. So guys, real quick, we're going to do an exercise right now. This is the first thing. The fundamental superpower of life. Guys, just real quick, we have 25 minutes to go. Just real tight when I'm saying pause, pause, pause. I know because we're going to interact a whole bunch. I'm going to get in and out of conversation fast. So here's what we're doing. The fundamental superpower of life is the ability to cause people to say yes. That can be done out of integrity. That can be done in integrity. But it changes everything. From Martin Luther King to Gandhi. Now, this is however you feel politically. It's up to you. But it's how Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, and every president in history became president. The ability to cause people to say yes. The integrous piece, which we're going to wrap up with at the end, is what is this integrous influence? And integrous is actually a word. What is integrous influence we're going to end with? Because I don't think anybody here wants to succeed and win. It's not sustainable, and it feels horrific to cause yes out of integrity. So we'll get to what that means. But in the beginning, first, in the causing of yes with integrity, we desire to bring truth forward to people. And every single one of you inside is heroic. If you're not heroic, and you've never done anything heroic, heroic is defined as being selfless, being scary, and acting anyway, doing something for others to net give versus net take when it was scary and uncomfortable for you. If you've never done anything like that in your life, ever, from birth to now, never say yes. I've heard one yes. We'll get to that person, some therapy in a second. So, Fernando, let's track who that is. We want to know, and what's your name? What is your name? All right, we'll get to Angie in a bit. Before we get to Angie, thank you for your courage and vulnerability, Angie. If you have done something heroic in your life, say yes. And say it heroically. If you've done something in your life that is heroic, please heroically say yes. Yes! One more time. Yes! Awesome. Okay. So now, to cause people in your management, in your leadership, in your recruiting, in your fundraising for profit or not for profit, as well, of course, in your marketing and selling, the causing of yes is indispensable. It is literally what business is, plus the other two things we're going to end with today. But the ability to cause yes is vital. So fundamentally, we're here, and if you want to meet some people while you're here to help you in your business, say yes? Yeah. Say yes? Okay. Energetic we're going to put a slide up on the board, which we're only going to cover one piece right now of what that takeaway is going to be, and then you're going to do it in an exercise in a moment. But the question is, what will make you heroically unique to the people you encounter at this conference? What will cause people to see the possibility of their future in you? That's the question. What will that be? And how do you do that in 60 seconds or less? How is that caused? 2 ways. And we're going to practice the first one, and then I'll tell you about the second one, because it takes longer to practice. So your name is, one more time? Biplop Malo? Okay. First name is Biplop Malo. Biplop? Okay, thank you. Biplop, where are you from?
Boston, but originally I was born in Bangladesh.
Okay, so Biplop, here's what we're going to do. Let's say his name. This is what you're going to do in a second. 4 things. Your name, right? Your name, where you're from, your heroic mission, vision, purpose, said heroically from your heart. Not your head, not your ego, from your heart. And then a fun fact about you. So a fun fact about me might be that my daughter was on a surfboard in a princess dress, and everybody on the beach yesterday, according to her mom, was looking at me like I was crazy as I had my 2-year-old daughter in meaningful sort of weight bounces in a princess dress. That will be a fun fact about me. A fun fact is something to open, listen, and connect with somebody else, and it will be effective and powerful if everyone you met over the course of the next few days, you went through a quick, hey, what's your name, where you're from, what's something heroic about you, and a fun fact. It expedites the process. So we're going to talk about rapport building and deep listening in a moment. We're going to illustrate that as well. But first, Biplop, so let's go through it real quick. You're going to say in 45 seconds, your name, where you're from, 1, your name, 2, where you're from, 3, your heroic mission, vision, purpose in the world, not a story, just like what is it, and 4th, a fun fact. Ready?
My name is Biplop Malo, and I'm the founder and CEO of StepGen. Our mission is to prevent type 2 diabetes, and our vision is to see a world without any diabetes. And a fun fact for me is one day I left my house in the middle of the dark to watch a show, let's say. A show without telling my parents.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Biplop is a rebel. I'm not even going to get into what Fernando has done or I have done, and I'm sure you have done, but let's hear from Biplop real quick. Okay. So the second person, here's what we're going to do. Because Oprah Winfrey, now I like heart, but I very much enjoy math as well. So, and I like truth. So here's the truth. Statistically, what is the likelihood that Oprah Winfrey would be worth 25,000 times the average American household? What are the odds of this? 1, teen pregnancy. 2, horrific sexual abuse at the hands of her own family. 3rd, African American. 4th, woman. Those 4 criteria statistically make it about 10 million times more likely that Oprah would be broke and a drug addict as opposed to being worth 25,000 times the average household income. So for $3 billion, the median net worth of an American household is in the $150,000 range in America. So how did she do it? Well, we have massive systemic challenges to deal with as a nation and a world, of course. While working on those things, however, Oprah decided that she was not a statistic. 75% of blind people, I am blind, are unemployed. Blind home ownership is 1/100th of home ownership for other Americans. So statistically, I'm below Oprah. in the likelihood of being anything but broke. But I also am not a statistic, but believe that systemic change is necessary. So yes, we are not ignoring systemic challenges, but we all have the individual capability to go beyond them. And when asked, Oprah Winfrey said something very simple. She said the reason she held the microphone for 30,000 people and became a multi-billionaire, her words, not mine, is because she told them, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. And if you're able to congruently and uniquely display your heroic characteristics to people in these next several days, and then even more vitally, you're able to tell them and have them feel and receive that you see them, that you hear them, and what you say to them matters, you will stand out in ways that is beyond your wildest imagination. It is not about 7-second memory hooks. It is not about networking. It is about causing the right people to see their future in you while loving all people and treating those amazing people that can change your business life and world with as much respect as the Uber driver, the elevator person, or the woman in a wheelchair in an elevator coming down to this conference. So B-Plop, here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you did something brave and courageous in support of a different life when you left Bangladesh. And you came to this nation to form a greater life and to pursue the American dream. And what I'm hearing from you, brother, is that you have a massive caring of about the health of humans, and you want to eradicate the scourge, the horrific disease of diabetes, and wipe it off the face of the planet. B-Plop, am I hearing you correctly? Oh, thank you, brother. Let's hear for B-Plop. And I'm also hearing that you're a very good boy to your parents. Is that true? Since the worst thing you ever did was sneak out to watch a movie. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to do one more quick one. We have an amazing woman who is up here. Who's the magic woman? The magic woman. What is your first name? Jacqueline? Let's hear for Jacqueline! So Jacqueline, your name, where you're from, please. Your mission, vision, purpose, and a fun fact.
My government name is Jacqueline Bouvier Redeemer. I'm from Inglewood, California. My heroic mission is I am a compassionate, caring person who believes in the power of healing, and I have done that through being a clinical nurse specialist in cancer for 33 years, and I'm starting a nonprofit, Redeem Holistic Health, to transform lives. Fun fact about me, I ran for mayor of Inglewood in 2010, and the second fun fact about me is that if my daughter texts me, I'm going to have to leave because she's getting a ward next door.
And Jacqueline, thank you. So Jacqueline, what I'm hearing you say is that you have led a life where you have clearly decided who you are, what you are, where you're going, and that you respect people, and that respect begins immensely with respecting yourself. So far, am I hearing you correctly? And that you love your daughter, and that you're an extraordinary mom. Am I hearing you correctly? Let's hear it for Jacqueline. Okay. And only as to not disappoint, I'm not going to do the listening exercise because these other two extraordinary men come up. And we have first
Sanjeev Kumar.
Sanjeev, real quick.
Hi, I'm Sanjeev Kumar. Having lived in 3 continents, I call myself global citizen. Right now, I live out of Chicago. My heroic cause or purpose in life would be to have an equitable, hate-free, global village as a family. In fact, I have a tattoo on my arm that says coexist. And in Sanskrit, it says Vasudev Kutumbakam,
That means world is one family. Fun fact, nobody believes that. I got married on Valentine's Day, and we got married in Graceland, in Tennessee.
So, brother, and am I accurately hearing you? I mean, I heard a lot, but is at least one thing I'm hearing that you've seen some very painful, very ugly, very horrific things done where people were creating false lines of division and acting horribly around it. Am I hearing you correctly? Awesome, brother. And finally?
Carlon Fitzpatrick. My name is Carlon Fitzpatrick. I'm from London. Thank you. I'm an orthopedic surgeon and co-founder of Encode Health. My mission really, and what I'm passionate about, is making people the best that they can possibly be. And so far in my life, I've done that through healthcare, medicine. Now I'm doing it through Encode Health and what we can do to help people engage with their own healthcare. Fun fact about me is, even though I'm a homeowner and the head of a household, I have no control in my house. I have I have 2 daughters who are 4 and 7. When they say it's takeaway day on a Friday, I cannot say no otherwise. This is the end. That's fun fact.
Let's hear it for Colin Fitzpatrick. We have final.
My name is Johnny Reeves. I believe that every human being has the opportunity to take control over their own health, and that no one should be a statistic, a pharmaceutical statistic, and that we have everything here on this planet that we need in order to self-heal. And I've dedicated all of my time since 2015 by teaching people an environmental approach to health. I've done home retreats. I've traveled all over the world. I've helped people reverse cancer naturally without the use of pharmaceutical drugs or medications. And I think that every human being on earth should have the ability to take their health into their own hands, and no doctor, no vaccine, no medication should control people's ability to treat themselves and take an internal approach to their health.
Thank you. Okay, so let's, everybody real quick, we have about 18 minutes left together, and we have a lot to accomplish. The first thing we're going to accomplish is you're going to do exactly what these amazingly fine folks just did. You're going to find one person in your group, and I'm going to say person number, and this whole exercise will take about 4 minutes. If we all move in and out, when I say pause, 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 we all just start clapping it up and pausing really quickly because we don't want to miss the last 15 minutes, and we could be encroaching on that if we don't move it quickly. We're going to find each of you in a group, find one person. You're going to share exactly the same thing to one person, the mission, vision, purpose like we did. Then we're going to pause. As soon as it's done, just pause. I'm going to give everybody 45 seconds to do that. And I'm going to say, person number 2, tell person number 1 what you heard them say, the same way that we evoked tears from my brother right here. And the reason tears flowed is because people do not feel heard in the world, and that didn't start in 2023 or the 20 to 2000s. It's been going on for thousands of years since the inception of humanity. People do not hear each other. In the hearing of one another, it feels so amazing and extraordinary that a stranger can make people cry. 90% of the time I speak and do this exercise, someone cries. And if we took a little more time with these other 4 folks, I'll go 3 of the 4 of them would have cried. The idea isn't to cause someone to cry. It's to give what Oprah said. And when you do, people want to know more about you. Do you think this fine gentleman right here would like to know more about me, yes or no? Yes. Would you like to know more about me? Would you like to be heard that way every single day, brother? He said every day. You provide that for people, and that is why people will never leave your way, your side. I have hundreds of people that work for me. I own 4 different companies that are all valued over 8 figures. I have one company on the way to a 9-figure valuation, and I don't mean just on paper. And the way that's happened, I'm self-funded, have never taken on investment capital. All of this is self-funded from a blind guy with no money, no connections, no nothing. I'm not that special, but this formula, this mechanism that we're beginning to touch upon, it is that special. So let's find the quick partner in 10 seconds and then pause. As soon as you have your partner, pause. 10 seconds, find the partner, go. Okay, let's pause. If you can hear me, say yes. Yes, person number one, listen up. Person number one, your mission, heroic mission, vision, purpose, 45 seconds, go. Ten seconds. Three, two, one. Give person number one a hand. Person number two, from your heart, see them, hear them, say what they said matter to you. Person number two, in 20 seconds, tell them what you heard. Go. Five, four, three, two, one. One more time, give person number one a hand. If you can hear me, say yes. If you can hear me, say yes. If you can hear me, say yes. Person number two, your name, where you're from, your heroic mission, vision, purpose, and a fun fact in 45 seconds. Say it to person number one, go. Five, four, three, two, one. Give person number two a hand. If you can hear me, say yes. If you can hear me, say yes. Person number one, tell person number two you saw them, heard them, and what they say matters. Go. Really did a great job. 3, 2, 1. Give person number two a hand. If you can hear me, say yes. If you hear me, say yes. Let's make our way back to our seats in 30 seconds. Go! Let's make our way to our seats. Unblinded team, let's help people get to their seats real quick. We've got about 10 minutes left. Here we go. Okay, let's pause. If that exercise, if you can hear me, say yes. If that exercise felt good for you, say yes. If that exercise felt good for you, say yes. If you feel better now, than when you walked into the room, say yes. Yes is a scary word, and it's a powerful word. Yes is a scary word because the worst atrocities in the history of humanity have been caused at the other end of yes. And so have the greatest breakthroughs of every conceivable type. Yes, in and of itself, is necessary to create anything. But it can be integrous or non-integrous. That'll be our final point. Before we get there, here's number one. We need three things. The first one is influence mastery. We need the ability to cause yes with people. In integrity, we'll end with what integrity is. We need the ability to cause yes. If you cannot cause yes, you will be alone. You can't market, you can't sell, you can't manage, you can't lead, you can't recruit, you can't fundraise for profit or not. And the difference between people's ability to cause yes has been the study of my life, and the beginning of it you saw here today. How do you, there's 20 components. We touched on 2. And if you look at the 4, 12, 4 on the screen, the 4 steps, the third step is the ability to powerfully convey your heroic, unique identity. If that doesn't, and I don't mean your 7-second memory hook. Martin Luther King was not delivering 7-second memory hooks. When Paul Revere wrote out to wake people up and cause something 247 or 248 years ago exactly, 248 years ago in 1775, he was not using 7-second memory hooks. He was causing people to feel and receive his messaging through the science that's on that board. The second piece of that science is the ability to acknowledge humans. It's on that list, and the indispensable elements is the A in smaller QVC, the third one down. The ability to acknowledge people, authentically acknowledge people, will cause them to want you to never leave their side in their world if it is authentic. And your intention and design is to add more value than you take, which is the definition of integrity as we use it. Are you transparent in your intent? Are you pretending to like somebody because you want their money? That's non-integrous. If we are transparent with people and we seek to add more value than we take, that is the definition of integrity as we use it in integrity-based human influence. No concealment, no negotiating tactics and games. And if you confront and deal with that on the other side, we have lots of answers for that, but not nearly enough time to talk about that here today. But your integrity is rooted in transparency and adding more value than you take until you see integrity breaches on the other side. Because we are not telling you to get steamrolled and robbed and stolen from the world. I've had the privilege of putting multiple people in prison. Federal prison is not my desire. But in cases where the largest Ponzi schemer in the history of Florida, Scott Rothstein, took $1 billion off of people and through the power of level 5 listing on that board, I was the first person to figure out that it was a Ponzi scheme. He had a 300-person law firm in Florida. This work isn't just about being nice and positive. This work is about how you cause yes and when you learn how, when, and why to say no. The second piece after influence mastery, which is the ability to cause yes, that you have to have, and this is right here, the whole game. Remember the promise at the beginning? Doubling your business? Well, if you can cause yes, just doing those two things. The second piece, though, is process mastery. And what process mastery means, the 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery, which we're not going to drop into all 7, but you could focus simply on the third. If you grow your sales meetings, you will grow everything. And the fundamental mechanism of exponentially growing your sales meetings, which is not a random networking meeting, it's not a collaborative conversation, it's not a mastermind or brainstorming. It's when somebody is sitting with you and understands if it's for philanthropy, and they're going to have the ability to invest in your charity or your business if it's for profit, or the ability to say yes to your legal, health, financial services, educational services, marketing services, whatever that is. If they're going to have the ability to say yes or no in that encounter, it's a sales meeting. It's not a random bump into where we say, hey, come to my house for a party, and it's like, would you like to buy a set of steak knives? That's not a sales meeting. That's a trap. It's non-integrous. A sales meeting is where somebody knows they're sitting to have that conversation, and here's the key. The way we cause that to grow exponentially is by knowing there's 3 people you're meeting all the time. Einstein said, make it as simple as possible, not simpler. This is a mic drop right here. Mic drop. And the mic drop is this. I'm going to wrap in 3 minutes. The mic drop is this. You're meeting potential clients, you're meeting potential speaking opportunities, and you're meeting potential ecosystem partners. And if you're doing that randomly, that math is crazy. If you're doing it intentionally, that's how we had a financial services company that we just got valued at $27 million. We just got the valuation today that I had the privilege of owning a third of. It's my 4th business. And in that business, we took it from 8 sales meetings a month to 3,000 sales meetings a month. Because of intentional shared experience. You go, how do I assemble people I don't know that are optimal people? I'm nobody. Who am I? You know how you become someone? You connect people to who they want to meet. I want to meet people. You introduce me to people I want to meet, and you become a very important, valuable friend and partner for me. When you're causing people through shared experiences to meet the people that they want to meet, then you're the 2.0 conference. Then you're everything you want to be. And the third piece of how that actually happens is what we said from the beginning. When you become free. When you become free to pick up the phone and call the people, to put things together that make sense, not because it's good for you, but it's good for them. I've run 750 shared experiences since COVID started, where directly with our company or in partnership, we put 6 to 8 people on a virtual show to meet one another. Why would we do something like this and not charge people for it? Because we find clients, we find partners, and we find speaking opportunities. If you do that, you will skyrocket your sales meetings, and even if everything else is screwed up, you will double your business in 12 months. That I guarantee. Final for today. We began with the question of how free are you? We started there. And the answer is you're as free as you allow yourself to be. When you walked into this room today, you're in a very, very different place in space than where you are right now, because we all ebb and flow where energy is. Energy is required to cause anything. And what we'd love to do is propose a quick offer to you to continue the conversation with us. And here's the proposal. We want to do things with you. We want to find out if there's alignment. And so if you hit that link that's going to be up on the board, 3 things are going to happen. First, you're going to get a copy of our influence book that's going to be hot off the presses. It's not simply we threw together for nothing. It teaches the 4 steps, 12 indispensable elements, and 4 energies with questions at the end of every chapter to drive forward your mastery of this concept. It's free. So if you click the link and send it, that book costs us thousands of hours to put together, but it costs a bunch to publish, no shipping, handling, nothing. We will provide a copy of the book for you, hard copy of the book, number 1. Number 2, you get a strategy session with one of the people on our team. The first 30 people, I don't like first 30 people. That kind of feels salesy or something. Yes, because you have to have integrous scarcity. If you have no scarcity to what you're proposing, you cause people not to act. So integrity means you give people an integrous, and I promise you, it is only 30. The first 30 people to respond will meet with Adam Gugino, my partner, who built a $750 million company in a 1-hour conversation that I guarantee, saying this on recording, will cause a $10,000 value for your 1 hour of time, or I will personally write you a $1,000 check. And I trust your integrity. 1 hour, Adam Gugino. And the third thing you'll get is one of the people in this grouping will be selected for a VIP ticket to our upcoming Influence Immersion New Jersey. For any reason you can't make it, it's a $5,000 ticket. Not something we say we charge, that's what it costs. There's a tremendous shared experience with people in the grouping. One person in this room will be selected. From this room, not from other rooms, just this room. And we will have that selection done by the end of tonight and let the event organizers know who won that. So you get the book, you get the strategy session, and one person gets the Influence Immersion. In final, life is scary and complicated and hard. I spent 26 years of my life designing programs and work for how we assuredly grow and build our businesses. That's the outcome. That's the work that we're doing here. And if something here resonated with you today, and I know for most of you something did, it's because it's the truth. And I have 4 different companies. Unblinded is only one of them. This is where I spend 90% of my time. Not in my law firm, not in a new company and division that we are now number one in America in the new federal arbitration system for out-of-network healthcare providers. Callagy Law is the number 1 law firm in the country from the Center for Medicare Services. That's my law firm I own 100% of the equity of. We are number 1 in that. I spend less than 3% of my time on that business. I do this because I want to cause people to be free. That's why I'm in Las Vegas. I'm not in Las Vegas to sell coaching programs. I'm not in Las Vegas to coach people. I'm in Las Vegas to find partners to take this work forward. And we met extraordinary people here last year, like Glenn Wagstaff, who's the largest estate planning law firm in the country, doing a whole bunch of stuff with him, and a bunch of other people at the 2.0 conference that were bringing stuff forward. I cannot thank the organizers enough. They're doing beautiful work here. By the way, let's hear it for them one more time. The 2.0 conference. Yeah. And in truth, if you do not fill that form out before you walk out of the room, there's a 95% chance you will not do it. It's just human nature. So if something resonates, then do it now. There's like where you're from, name, email address, and phone number. That's a scoop. And if nothing resonates, that's cool too, and I thank you for your time. But in final, let no one love your dreams more than you. Everyone will tell you it can't be done. My mother and father, who love me to no end, have told me every single thing I've ever done is not going to work and not going to happen. When I quit my job and started building my first law firm, my dad said, if it's that easy, why doesn't everyone do it? My mother says, God's put work in your heart and you have a big mission in the world, but stop working so hard. Stop doing all this. Why do you go so hard? Something's going to happen. People love you and try to stop you. People love you and try to stop you. Only you must decide. Only you must decide what your mission, vision, purpose is. And if you have everything you want, then go home right now and relax and enjoy and be grateful. But if you have something on your heart that says there's more, we want to know you, you want to know each other. We'll make these days at this 2.0 conference everything it could be. It's been honor and privilege. My name again is Sean Callagy. We are Unblinded, and you are a hero. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.